There are 23 factors you need to consider when buying the perfect grill for you, and today I'm going to walk you through every one, including a couple that I bet you haven't ever thought of. I'm David Gafford with the Barbecue Lab, and I test about 100 different outdoor cooking and outdoor living products every year to help you make the best decisions with your hard-earned dollars. Today I'm going to pull back the curtain on how my brain works when I'm making a purchase decision on a new grill. Figuring out which grill is best for you starts with understanding the type of cooker that best fits your needs. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link it up here in the card above and in the description below. That's part one though. Part two is narrowing down the fit and feature list inside your chosen product category. Now stick with us until the end, and I'm going to show you where you can download a checklist that will help make your grill buying experience a breeze. The first thing that I base my decisions on when I'm buying a cooking device is price. While I would love to be unrealistic and shop without a budget, price plays into everything that we do, and what we can afford to pay will determine how many of the following wants and needs we can afford. The second is usually capacity. Will this cooker work for my family? Will it feed company when they come over? Now, also, what's the most amount of people that I would want to serve with this style of grill, and how many rounds of cooking will I need to do in order to accomplish it? Overall weight and size is also another deciding factor. How much real estate do you have on your patio, deck, porch, or wherever this grill is going to live? If you're going to store it inside the garage, do the shelves fold down to decrease the space that you'll need? Is it so heavy that you'll need a friend to help move it around? In part one, we decided what style of cooking appliance fits our needs, but next I want to know how a particular model understands its assignment. If I'm choosing a grill for its high heat searing ability, will this grill sear a steak? Can I do burgers as good or better than I would get at my local restaurant? High heat searing is a benchmark for me on most outdoor cookers. Now, it's not only high heat though. Low heat cooking ability absolutely matters as well. And I mean, how low can it go? In most cases, I want versatility. Meats like bone-in chicken and pork belly won't tolerate high heat very well. If it's all searing and nothing lower and slower, you're blocking many types of food preparation. While we're on the topic of low heat, can it also do indirect heat? Will I be able to use indirect cooking on this grill? I'm thinking whole chickens, briskets, pork butts, and more. Can it deflect the heat in some way or allow for a setup like two-zone cooking where the fire is on one side and the meat is on another? Is this a multi-function use grill is also a consideration. Can it do more than one of the 6 different types of cooking that we laid out in part one? Can it grill and griddle with an add-on? Can you both smoke and grill on one appliance? Versatility is important, especially if space is precious. Construction or what it's made of is something that I always consider before I make a purchase as well. Are the walls of the cooking chamber thick enough that they'll last for 5 years if I leave this out in the rain? Will this grill rust, or is it made of stainless steel? Is it super thin steel, or are we talking about a 1/4 inch thick piece of metal that's going to last decades? The quality of materials available is directly related to the budget that you've chosen to work with, but I found that there is still often a wide variety of construction quality within any given price point. If you've used a crock pot or a pellet grill, ease of control has been changing what grills people put in their grilling arsenal. Can you control the fire and the heat through a digital controller where you just set it and walk away? Once you've walked away, can you log into an app on your phone and change the temperature on that grill? How easy do you want outdoor cooking to be is a huge consideration for those with overbooked schedules stretched to the limit. Now here's one that no one wants to talk about: cleanup. You're going to have to clean this cooker. The grates will need cleaning every time. The grease tray will need cleaned so it doesn't catch on fire. Ash will need emptied, pellet waste vacuumed out, and more. Remember that you'll be cleaning this grill more than you'll want to, and how easy it is to clean will probably determine how often you'll want to use it. I want to make sure we give a shout out to Kyle James and his family for being a supporter of ours in our Kickstarter campaign. He helped us get our seasonings and seasoning blends to market. We can't say thanks enough to the whole James family and all of you who helped support us in our Kickstarter launch. If you want to see what we launched, you can go over to shop.thebarbecuelab.com and see all the goodness that we have on the site. How about accessories? Do you want a rotisserie kit? Does the manufacturer make one that fits? Are there holes pre-drilled where you can put a rotisserie rod? Can you add a griddle top? What about a custom cover? Does the manufacturer include a cover in the box, or is that an extra $100? What comes in the box is a consideration, but you also need to think about what isn't in the box. You don't want to plan on adding a sear burner or a side burner for sauces if those aren't even an option for this grill. How about fuel types and flexibility? Do you want to use tanks of propane gas, or are you going to hook this up to natural gas? If you're looking at a charcoal grill, do you want to use briquettes, or is this a grill where you will need more expensive lump charcoal? If it's a wood burner, do you have easy access to wood, or are you planning on buying wood bundles at the gas station? That'll get really expensive if you don't have a plan. Now, no matter what I'm cooking, I always feel like I need more side shelf space to put trays of food and utensils. If the grill I'm working on doesn't have side shelves, it's hard to manage large food trays, a lid, and tongs at the same time. My favorite grills have side shelves that look like wings on an airplane. So much space it almost looks ridiculous, but you'll want more space when you get to cooking. For the cooking surface material itself, what's it made of? Stainless steel, cast iron, porcelain coated, or plain cold rolled steel. All cooking surfaces have different strengths. Stainless is easy to clean. Cast iron gives great sear marks. Cast iron also needs more care, and like their pan counterparts, aren't great with highly acidic foods like tomatoes. Make sure you choose a surface that will do what you want it to do. How about a secondary cooking rack? An upper rack can give you more cooking area, but they can also just simply be in the way if you don't plan on using them. Often called a potato rack, will it store up into the grill when it's not in use? How will you monitor temperature of your grill? Is an analog thermometer in the lid all that you need, or do you want to be able to monitor the internal temperatures of food also? Does it have any temperature reporting at all, or will you need a third-party thermometer? How about storage space? Does it have any? Is there a bottom shelf for tools and bags of charcoal, or are there doors covering storage where you can stash all the things you prefer to leave out with your grill? Do you plan on moving this grill around? What kind of mobility do you need? Are you going to get this grill in place and never move it, or will you be wheeling this back and forth from the garage? If you want to move it much, the quality of the wheels really will matter. Is the warranty something that you can count on? Are you buying from a company that has a record of honoring their warranty, or is it an empty promise on a piece of paper? If something breaks, are replacement parts available? Is this company likely to be around in 3 years? All considerations to think about. Now, what do you want the cooking height or the interaction height of this grill to be? Some grills are a good 6 to 8 inches shorter than others, and if you're very tall, you will be hunched over flipping burgers if you're not careful. What about the evenness of cooking across the entire surface? Are there hot spots? Are there cool spots? Are the burners spread out evenly? Does the heat all come from one place, and is that spread out, or is it centralized? What kind of control do you have over how the heat is applied? Maybe you can turn some burners on and some burners off. Can you run high on one side and low on the other? Evenness is a great goal, but if you don't plan on filling the grate when you cook, it may not be a factor for you. If you're cooking one thing for a crowd, it can be the difference between success and serving burned and raw food at the same time. How is the wind where you're located? Will this grill be affected by the wind? We live in the Midwest, and 20 to 30 mile an hour winds are a constant reality. If you want your cooker to function at its best, how will it handle that wind? That's one that's burned me a couple of times in the past, with burners blowing out, stalling a cook. Lastly, what are your regional considerations that will affect this purchase? Do you live in an area where burn bans are common? It would be a shame to buy a killer grill that you can't use most of the year. Do you live next to the sea where salt will corrode the surfaces on your grill? Are critters your constant companion out in the wild and like to make nests in your cooker? All of these are things to consider as well, but only you know the specific requirements and how well a grill can work for you. So there it is, my personal 23-point checklist. Wait a minute, did I say 23? I know that we've already thought of at least one more, and we've updated our PDF download to make sure that that's on there so you can consider that as well. But what else did we miss? Make sure you go down in the comments and tell us your favorite things to consider when buying a grill, and we'll update our PDF so that we have it all. Now, some of these things are details you can research without buying. Others, namely performance-related factors, are hard to answer until you actually see it in action. That's where I hope we can help. Our plan is to provide answers and evidence for every item on this checklist for all of the grills we work with this year. Manufacturers send us units to test, and we will give you the testing data so you can wisely invest your hard-earned money buying the perfect grill. Consider us your surrogate product testers, and this video is our high-level rubric. We've created a PDF that outlines this entire process in an easy-to-use checklist to make grill buying easy. Just click on the link below in the description or scan the QR code here on the screen to get a free copy to find the perfect cooking device that checks all of your boxes. Once you have your checklist, you're ready for the next videos in this series where we compare the category leaders every year in head-to-head battle royale competition. I've linked the most recent head-to-head battles below where we've compared gas grills, flat-top griddles, pellet grills, charcoal grills, and more. So grab your checklist, find your category, and let's get you connected with the perfect grill. I'm David Gafford with the Barbecue Lab. Behind the camera is my remarkable wife, Melissa. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on the next one.